back to the channel. Like and just kidding. I'm not gonna tell you to like and subscribe because that's annoying. But anyways, so for today's video, I am coining the term being silver pilled. And why am I coining the term silver pill? For one, I don't think I've heard anyone say it, so hopefully I can start something with it. For two, it seems like the other pills I've heard all kinds, red pill, black pill, blue pill, purple pill, whatever pill, right? And these revolve around just being socially aware. For some reason, they're mostly targeted at men. Well, I understand why red and blue are mostly targeted about at men and everything. So I wanted to use silver pill to be something where things are to make you more financially aware of the world and what's going on. Mainly centered towards black people, because black people, as we know, we're essentially at the bottom of society in America. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because we're either not financially aware, or we are financially essentially segregated against. And black people, we're just not in a good place financially in this country. We're at the point where like a lot of people from other countries come in here with like way less of opportunity than we have, and sometimes even facing the same kind of supremacy, white supremacy, that we do, and we just get outperformed. So I deem silver pilled for that reason. And why should you be silver pilled? Because don't you like your money? Don't you like being comfortable? Don't you like having not only freedom but a degree of power, depending on how much you have? And what I'm going to be talking about today is I'm just going to give some general news on what's going on a bit financially in the world and why black people need to pay attention. So for this first story coming from Newsbreak, China has now released the digital yuan in gas stations in Chinese cities, and they basically say that they're trying to get at least 100 gas stations before next month involved with this. And what a digital yuan is essentially it's the yuan but digitized, completely. There's no need for you to have the paper yuan. You could just have the digital yuan. It's the same thing, but it's like it's not like having like some money in your bank account and you take it out. It's like strictly online. And this is important because China, Japan, Russia are some of the countries that are literally at the forefront of this. And this could change a lot of global commerce, because now you'd be able to you could be in another country and you give your card to the vendor, and when you buy, you can use your digital euro or dollar to just buy something in China or whatever. It will automatically convert to yuan. So you won't really even have a need to like get your money exchanged for like whatever money that country uses and things like that. It cuts that all out in half, and it's really going to change how people spend when it comes to, I guess, cross countries and border payments and whatever. And it's really important for black people to understand this, because at some point you will have to use digital dollars. And these are central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. And what does that mean? You're going to get your money now is going to be issued from your central bank. So for America, that's the Federal Reserve. And we're going to get to the issues with that in a moment. But that's what's going to happen, and you need to be aware, because this is just going to be the new normal. And it's kind of funny, like black people, we don't really have a lot of money, but we obsess over it because of that. We love ourselves some crisp $100 bills, especially them blue notes. I almost think those blue notes are like invented solely for the purpose of making people think that an American dollar is pretty. But it's important for black people to understand this, because black people, listen, your dollars aren't worth hardly anything. Stop obsessing over currency. I'm not even going to say money anymore, because dollars aren't money. They are currency. Your dollars, it doesn't matter how much you have, unless you have like millions, or high hundreds of thousands. Even if you're balling, even if you're showing it off, doing the money phone or the money thing on your arm, they print infinite amounts of that. It's not worth anything. Okay, it loses its value to inflation all the time, and the Federal Reserve even says it to your face. They want to raise inflation, even though they don't even explain what good is raising inflation, because all you're doing is just making things more and more expensive. And because we're going to have money issued through the Federal Reserve, essentially what's going to happen is now our money is going to be controlled even further. For example, I got suspended on Twitter for calling someone a coon, which is kind of ironic because I'm black and they told me I can't call him a coon. So it's like they're calling me a coon because Twitter wants to act like, they're so black people can be this and minorities, but then I can't be a minority calling out another minority. Huh. Oh well. And the way these CBDCs can work is if I do that, they can make up a law saying you can't do, or they can be like, you can say what you want, free speech, but you're going to get taxed 5% for it off your check. So I get like $500 and then they're going to take $5 out of my check or $10 out of my check or whatever. Because I said that. Because they are controlling my money directly. They can go in and they can take it out. Previously, really, the IRS is like the only other organization I know that can really have the power to garnish your wages like that. But even then, I don't think they can just directly do that. But these CBDCs, they belong to the Federal Reserve. And you have to be aware of that. Okay? Hold on a second. Grandma's calling me and gotta tell her I'm doing something. She probably just call and be like, oh, you want something? I'm like, no, I don't. Recording a video. God, everyone's always calling me. But anyways, yeah, so that's the issue with central bank digital currencies. Now, I know what you're asking. Well, how am I going to really get past that? Because if we live in a future where everyone really just wants to take, digital dollars, and using dollars is going to be a niche thing, how am I going to really protect myself with that? And the best way to protect yourself is, to me, Bitcoin. But not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency in general. But Bitcoin in general. And the biggest reason is because when you have most of these cryptocurrencies, no one can tell you what to do with these things. No, they can't just be taken away from you. From whoever is in charge of it. And Bitcoin is the best, and the reason why it's the best because it's the most decentralized. Because as you see here, all these other cryptos, most of these cryptos are ran by organizations and people. Tron, but I think his name's Justin Sun. Litecoin, I think Charlie Lee still has a bunch of influence. I think what's his name for Stellar? I forgot his name, but he came from Ripple. He's the one in charge of that. Cardano with IOHK. So besides like Monero, most of these and Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin, most of these cryptocurrencies, there is someone in charge of them, and that's why a lot of people in a lot of big organizations are buying Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, you just buy that, and unless you have it on the exchange, no one could fine you for it, dox you for it, anything like that. It's decentralized as hell, and it's revolutionary because now this is the one really true way digitally you can protect yourself against the government, and you can protect yourself against the falling value of the dollar and inflation. It's the best way. We have companies like MicroStrategy buying 400. MicroStrategy has put $450 million into this, which is like literally Charles Sayer. He literally was like, I'm just going basically our savings and cash. There's no point because we've got so much, but we're gonna lose so much. We're better off going with Bitcoin, and Square, what's it called? Square, who owns Cashapp, they themselves have bought about $50 million in Bitcoin to run their Bitcoin reserve. But I really just don't see them only buying 50 million. I think that's tentatively. I think they're dipping their feet in the water, but as the price goes up, they're all going to buy more and more. I already know a lot of banks themselves definitely have Bitcoin and other cryptos, because I know USAA, they're doing something. I can't remember if it was with Coinbase or whoever, but their members can get Bitcoin through them as well. So I mean, if they've got Bitcoin, I know JP Morgan has got Bitcoin. I know Bank of America has got Bitcoin. And you need to follow the smart money, black people, because this is one of the ways you can get ahead. And this is one of those events in times in history where people relatively little can do better for themselves or completely change their lives. I'm not going to say how much I have invested, but I will say, to help you, I have most of my portfolio in Bitcoin. Then second to that, Ethereum, because I'm the kind of person that believes in the 1-2 punch. I go for number one, stick with number two. I've got a little bit in Ripple only because I know like banks are going to be very involved with that. My next biggest investment is with Cardano, because Cardano to me is like they're kind of going to be to like a bit of the best of both worlds between Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be really decentralized, and I think I'll probably explain their staking either later in the video or in another video, depending on how long I talk. But they also are going to have decentralized apps built on them, the way like Ethereum has a lot of apps built on that, and they just have a really good community, and I like who's in charge of it. And then I'm with Chainlink, and Chainlink does oracles, and I don't think I can explain that now because I'm still learning about that. But that's essentially my big five right there. And there's a whole lot of other cryptocurrencies here, and some of them are really bad and some of them are really good. It just depends on how much research you put into it and how much faith you have and what they're doing in general. But black people need to be involved in this space because it is so early. And when I mean early, I'm gonna give you a number out there. I think the whole market cap for cryptocurrencies is still in the hundreds of billions. It hasn't touched it, or has it touched a trillion? I don't know, but it's very low. It's definitely not over 2 trillion, and the market cap of items such as gold and uh gold is like 7 trillion. The real estate is trillions and trillions, and I don't have the exact numbers, but you need to really understand that this is kind of like the internet and the .com bubble. It's like that. It gets. How about we go even deeper into human history? When humans first discover really like gold, think about how much gold was out there when people first started using gold. And there was probably so much gold that a lot of countries that like there were probably like some countries they even like they knew it was valuable, but it was so much that everybody could just have them. If you've ever watched that movie Road to El Dorado, I think when they got, I don't know if it was the Mayans, where the fuck they were, but everybody was wearing gold, kids, women. Not, it wasn't just like the king and the leader, like everybody was wearing gold. That's probably how a lot of societies were back then. And then when other people wanted gold, there are probably a lot of countries where they just ain't had no gold deposits, and they they had to bend to the will of the other countries with gold and everything like that. But if you're if you get into this space, there is an opportunity here for you to be able to change your life. And I definitely say go with Bitcoin, because one thing you got to understand about the world itself, and this is where being silver pilled, this is the silver pilling that I'm going to get to you. Right now the world is in a global depression, not a recession. It is a depression. Unemployment, especially in this country, America, is a sky high. To me, I'm pretty sure we're at the point where 50% of people don't have a job. And it may not look like it to you in your city, because I know down here in Jacksonville, it seems like we're hiring signs are everywhere. And see, the thing about economic meltdowns is they don't happen necessarily in every single state, city, and location. But where it does happen, to me, from what I can see, is primarily in two locations: big cities, small towns. Because small towns already don't have that much revenue coming in, right? So when there's the economic crisis, they're getting even less. Their banks probably have less money. There's less jobs going around, and because there's less jobs, people have less money to spend. That means more stores are going to go out of business. And with the whole COVID shutdown, a lot of stores just immediately had to go out of business. And then what's going to happen is people are just going to have no choice but to leave. And then also with big cities, because the thing about a lot of big cities like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, those places are broke because their states are broke. Okay? And the only reason people go there is to make money. But when you have a shutdown, right, and no one's making money, they're going to leave because it's too expensive to be in those places. Because the main reason why it's expensive is because so many people are coming in. But there's also you have to deal with I think people, because so many people come in and so many people are desperate to live there, that sorry, I thought I saw something out there. So many people are desperate to live there that it changes a whole lot when it comes to zoning regulations and housing and stuff. They're just getting fleeced. So people are basically leaving these two areas, and that's where the majority of most Americans live in cities, and most Americans are hired by small businesses, and small businesses for the most part are in big cities and in small towns because, well, in small towns, it doesn't have much corporate influence. So a lot of people start their own businesses and have their own businesses. And in big cities, most people start their own businesses there because, they have way more clientele to reach out to. And let's look here. So here you have Peter Schiff, and Peter Schiff, he right now is in a bit of a doozy because the bank that he manages is in charge of, which is Euro Pacific Bank. Essentially, they've been accused of working with criminals, and see here he gets questioned on 60 Minutes about that, to the point where he kind of can't take it anymore. So I'm gonna just skip to the point where he leaves out.
By Australian, US, etc. authorities about your customer base to the tax authorities who targeted you and your bank this year?
I am not involved with the day-to-day operation of the bank. I'm just going to get out of this chair if you're going to keep asking me these kind of questions. And in fact, if you think we're doing something wrong, why don't you try to open up an account at our bank? Go there under
yeah, he's trying to shell
assume name and give us some BS and see if you can actually open up an account. I dare you.
Well, Peter, we've tried to do that.
Have you tried to open up an account at our bank?
Yes, we have. So we've gone to one of your referrers.
It's called Euro Pacific Bank, correct?
This bank referrer promotes your bank because of the low taxes and secrecy.
Well, if they're, first of all,
the major flaw in Australian
people who refer
Peter Schiff is right that the Australian accountants and
man, I'm not gonna find it.
Force lawyers and accountants criminal charges. What did they say to you when the IRS came to your business to you this year? What did they tell you?
Look, as I said, they didn't say that we did anything wrong.
What did they say?
I'm not allowed to discuss it per the government.
Peter Schiff is rarely lost for answers.
I'm not asking any more questions on the bank. That's it. I'm done.
I'll rephrase the question.
There's no more questions.
No more questions. But when it comes to the bank,
this is ridiculous. I don't even know what they're trying to do.
He leaves the final word to his wife.
Hi, what was the point of you asking? What were you trying to get from this interview?
Your husband's bank is at the...
This woman, that's funny. That's a bit of a red pill moment there, because now she's just trying to get attention because she's like, oh, I'm gonna be on TV. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. So BuzzFeed actually released a big report. I think it's called FindCEF or FindCEN. I can't remember. And essentially, it outed a bunch of banks for working and doing criminal activities I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't know or remember, but JP Morgan was caught recently. I think it was last year. Those dudes had like hundreds of millions of dollars of cocaine on a ship. What's a bank doing with cocaine? The Deutsche Bank or some bank, I forget, but they were also outed. I think it was Deutsche Bank. Since like 1997 till now, they had under like $2 trillion and were working with mobsters and stuff. Your banks, these banks, whenever we've been brought up to think that bank means put your money there, your money is saved there, and then you save a lot of money, and then you either reinvest it or you spend the money. But these banks are not looking out for you. They're not your friend, and it's kind of quite ridiculous because this is how this works. These banks get money, right? They get loaned money from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve prints these monies. I mean, not money. They print this currency, our dollars. They print these dollars. They give it to these banks. These banks then are using essentially that free loan money to go out and invest in companies, buy a real estate, all of that. They raise the prices on everything. That's why the stock market is so high. And then they get a return double, triple, quadruple, quintuple, 1,000 times their investment. Meanwhile, we are still getting taxed by our government, which also participates in this as well, just so you know, because the Federal Reserve and our government, the Federal Reserve is not part of the government. It's a privately owned business, essentially. And they get dollars for them for free the same way, too. So, and they still have the audacity to give you income taxes. They still have the audacity to make sure that you would never be able to not have to pay for anything by giving you property taxes on your home, which makes no sense to me, because how do you truly buy out a home and have it paid off, but you have to pay every month on the property tax? Like, what? You're getting taxed for the property, but this is my property. Why do you need a tax for it? What are you going to do to help? Are you going to improve my land? Are you going to give me, a garden or something? No, they don't do anything of that. And this is the silver pilling. This is your silver pill right here. Your government lives to take money from you because it is broke. But but this is why the system is failing, because they can't you can't have the currency be printed, given to the government, which is then used to price you out. Not the government and corporations, which is used to price you out of everything that's really important when it comes to finances. To price you out the housing market, to inflate your currency, and to try to price you out of the stock market. That's why it's so overpriced, because dang, Tesla just got started, but I don't see people driving more Teslas than Hondas. I don't see how Tesla still is more, effective than a good Honda Accord. At this point, because they kind of half and half. There's not even a real big used market for Teslas yet, and that's what's being done to us. That's why we have, as Black people, that's why it's not only an opportunity, but it should also be an imperative to get into cryptocurrencies, but also to get into such things as precious metals. To be quite honest, those are basically my big two go-tos, because when it comes to things like real estate and ETFs and everything, I don't think most Black people have the kind of money to be able to get into those and make a good return within a 5-year span. Maybe like 10, 15. But with the way the world is going, I don't think we have that time. So for me, precious metals and cryptocurrencies are the best things for us to get into, because right now with the cryptocurrency market, the market is still very, very young, and there are still a lot of projects out there where if you you're able to scrounge up a couple $1,000s and get yourself involved, like 5,000 in Bitcoin is going to go a long way in 5 years. $5,000 in Ethereum is going to go a long way in 5 years. Ripple, Chainlink, practically almost everything on here. Granted, if it's in the top 25. But most of those projects, if you're able to get, and I know I feel like most black people can save themselves at least 3K. More so if they don't have any kids or whatever. But then again, a lot of black women have a lot of kids, so a lot of them are gonna have a hard time, and a lot of those kids don't really get raised to understand things financially. So a lot of black men and women out there are gonna have a hard time, like, putting themselves in positions to spend like I do. I mean, not spend, just save and invest. But that's cryptocurrencies. When it comes to silver, it seems to be pretty much agreed upon these days. Silver is highly undervalued. It's still, I think it's like 26.7, no, it's like $24 to $25 an ounce right now. At one point it was below 20, and I actually got me a couple. I'd say I got like 25% of my silver below that price. So if I sell some of my silver now, I'm literally up $10 off of the silver that I bought. But still, they still say it's overpriced underpriced right now. It's undervalued. We could be seeing it hit $100 5 years. I actually think it will be $100 in 5 years. And you've got like gold. Now I know gold is more expensive. It's more expensive. And $5,000 in gold probably isn't going to go as far as 5,000 in Bitcoin right now in 5 years, but it's still going to get you somewhere in 5 years, because I could also see gold hitting $3,000 easily in 5 years. And a good thing about gold is now tied in cryptocurrency, because for example, you can start yourself up a profile with BlockFi. When you lend your crypto, or USDC, your crypto, you put your money in, lend your crypto on there, you gain interest from that at different kinds of rates. And they have Pax Gold on there, and that's a cryptocurrency where the makers of Pax Gold, they have gold reserves. So that cryptocurrency is tied to the price of gold. So, you can buy yourself like $500 worth of gold through there, and as the gold price increases, so does your value increase. And it's also like you can get rid of that probably much quicker than if you have, let's say you're able to have like $10,000 worth of it, you can probably get rid of that more, like make a profit, sell that much quicker than you can with actual like real gold, because like you could just do it from your computer instead of going online trying to find someone to buy it from you, or going to a coin shop, but then having to see, because they're going to try to buy it for less. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, but still, that's a great way to not only invest, but to hedge your money. When it comes to the precious metals, I feel like that market, I feel like you should put your money in that more so to save and keep your buying power. Like, yes, it's going to go up in value, so you're going to make a profit. But the biggest thing about precious metals is they keep their value over currencies like the dollars, because that's actual money. So that's the biggest thing why I feel like people should get in that. And then for cryptocurrencies, that I feel like people should get involved with cryptocurrencies more for the investment side of it. And I've talked a great deal a lot, but I know we're rounding it home now. The last thing I want to really discuss is knowing all this, having a bank account. Because knowing what I've told you, right? Even for me, knowing this myself, and excuse the noise. My fiance, she's just doing some work and doing things outside. She's doing a great job with the house and everything. So don't mind this for all 5 people that are possibly going to listen to this. But having a bank account, we've got to look at having a bank account differently now. Because listening to what I've told you about these banks, a lot of these banks are participating in criminal activities. By having your money in a lot of these banks, you're essentially supporting these criminal activities. And I'm not about to let Bank of America, JP Morgan, have all the cocaine of themselves, and I ain't getting some. Because if I'm putting me $50 in, you can at least give me a half gram of ball. I don't know how cocaine works. That's just a joke. Maybe not. But another thing too is when you put your money into the bank, a lot of these banks now own your money. So in the case of a bank run where a lot of people go to the bank to take their money out the bank, they can tell you no, you can't take your money out the bank because those are also their ATMs. I mean, think about it. It makes sense. You put their money, you're putting your money into their vaults, into their ATMs. That is theirs. That's not yours. Okay? So you really have no control over your money. The government taxes you and the banks can keep it. So that's why I also suggest another part of the silver pilling is try to put your money elsewhere. You know, like for example, Acorns. I use Acorns. I need to use it a bit more because when it does come to investing in the markets, it works out pretty well without you having to think too hard about what you're investing in. It's like a safe investment for safe returns. Um, they have a debit card. Cashapp, they have a debit card. Robinhood, um, even Crypto.com, they have their debit cards. So there's a lot of crypto debit cards. Essentially, we now live in a digital economic world. Okay, with these CBDCs coming about, that's the death knell. Okay, black people, that is the 1-5%, whatever, letting you know we're moving past the dollars. There's no point. The internet is such a widespread service. Poor people, you can be as poor as you can be, and you can get yourself a decent, smartphone, which can act as your computer. You don't even need a computer these days in the world. You just need yourself a decent smartphone. So we're past physical money at this point. And because we're past that, if we're past physical money, then we can move on from the banks. Because think about it. The main reason people even use banks is that your money could be safely guarded somewhere. You know, because if you have $1 million and it's under your couch, it's much easier to steal that $1 million out of your couch if I'm a robber than it is to get it at the bank. Because for one, the bank, even if they own that money, they do provide you with insurance. And also those vaults, have you seen them vaults? The thing's pretty thick. You know, the surveillance. The fact that they take your money, those robbers or something, take your money, you're going to still be able to get it back because of the insurance, and also a lot of the dollars are tracked. But now that we're moving to online currencies and we're moving to online money, to me, there isn't much point in having a bank account now. Why? Because why do I need to why should I have an account with this group, right, that has my money? Where, for example, Cashapp. I mean, Cashapp still works through a bank, but it's very loose. It's not like Bank America. It's not as restrictful. Okay, you with your Cashapp card, you can have with your Cashapp card, you have a routing number and account number and all that. So if you get a new job or something, you can put that down and you can get paid directly to your Cashapp through your job or your Acorns or whatever. Like, we have all these apps now where you can get debit cards from them and spend with them, and they provide more of an incentive than banks, because if I, like, for example, my Cashapp, I can buy Bitcoin and then I could transfer my Bitcoin into dollars when I need to pay for something, or something like BitPay where you just have your Bitcoin, right? And then you use the card and it will spend from your Bitcoin account, you know, or like Acorns, you can use your investment money, and when you need your investment money, because remember, a rule of investing is don't invest more than you can afford to lose. You can take that investment money that you may have and spend it, because some people just use their investments as a way to have their money get some return while it's staying there. Because for some people, their investment is their savings. So part of this silver pilling is we've got to move on from these banks because they're criminal organizations. They don't deserve your money. They don't deserve your patronage. And you just have better options with other corporations because these other corporations have better incentives. Because the only thing most banks like Bank of America do, like, you just keep your money there and you get 0.5% out of a year. But if I have my Blockfolio account, for example, I get 6% yearly appreciation on my Bitcoin, or I could have 8.6% yearly appreciation on my USDC. So in case in case you're too afraid to get into Bitcoin or you're not so sure yet, you don't necessarily have to get into Bitcoin. You can have all your dollars and you can have them in, because USDC is a stable coin, have it in that stable coin, and you can still, really, you're going to get a way higher appreciation rate than Bitcoin. So you're going to be getting more money in terms of interest than Bitcoin. So just bring that, just suck it all in. Like, go to different parts of this video and re-listen to some things. But that's where we are. We're in a digital future now, and you've got to think digitally. And to think digitally is to silver pill yourself. You got to think, Black people. You got to think, what is your money doing for you? That's why I'm currently working part-time, and I'm working with my fiance on doing our own business because I've saved a good amount of money. I've saved enough money into crypto right now where, I'm just waiting for the ride. I live with my grandmother, but at the same time, she wants to pass this house down to me, so that's another form of wealth we're getting. So we're building up the house best we can, repairing some things, making it look pretty so we can sell it at a better price in the future. And I know I'm probably like part of the 1% of Black people that have that, but still, I am over just working a job just to get money that is just not going to be there in the future. It's slavery. That's what slavery is, because you're getting paid, yeah, but your money's gone. It's not going towards anything. And then when you go put it in a bank account, you don't own it. So you're working for nothing. You're not working for much. Black people, you gotta really ask yourself, what is your money doing for you? Where's your money going? Not money. Where's your currency going? What's your currency doing for you? Why are you getting this currency? Why are you acquiring this currency? And then you need to ask yourself, okay, now how can I get real money? What is real money? What is silver? Let me look up some silver. Can I afford gold? I can't afford an ounce of gold. It's $1,900. But I can afford 1/10. I can't afford a gram. I can't afford a fourth of an ounce. What is Bitcoin? What is Chainlink? Okay, I like Ethereum. But, ask yourself more. Okay, now what are these dApps? Oh, wow. Like, wow, the crypto kitties, yada, yada. This is something cool. Maybe I can invest in this. Or if you're like a really technical person and you're into developing and you're into code and things like that, let me learn how to code things in Ethereum. Let me build my own dApp. Let me let's see if I can improve the Lightning Network. Get involved in GitHub. Can I get paid in Bitcoin? Who? Like, I don't want to have a bank account, but I still need to be able to, like, I need a card I can spend. Oh, Cashapp. Let me get a Cashapp card. I don't know why most people should have Cashapp cards, in my opinion, because most people I don't think there's a point in you even using Cashapp if you don't have a Cashapp card now. And especially and you got to think about it like this. When Cashapp, now that they have Bitcoin on there, they're going to add Ethereum. They're going to add more cryptocurrencies on there. And it's going to get to the point where they're going to integrate your card with those cryptocurrencies. So, like, right now, I have to sell Bitcoin every time I want to, and bring it in my Cash App account every time I want to use it when I spend. It's going to get to the point where I'll just have the Bitcoin there and I'll just use my card and it'll spend for the Bitcoin, like BitPay, and because of that, that's probably going to make BitPay work on offering better incentives to their users, because it's just going to be as easy as going to Cash App for them. So the whole ecosystem evolves. That's why it's important to be silver pilled, because when you're silver pilled, when you're truly silver pilled, and we're going to end it all here. that is the only way we're going to be able to fight against this 1 to 5% that wants to suppress us, oppress us, and own everything. Because we can be divided and argue about white supremacy all we want, and we can argue about black women do this and black men do this all we want. But these people at the top, the only color they see is green, they see silver, they see gold, and also beige because some of these houses look ugly. But those are the only real colors that they see. They don't care who you are. As long as you don't got what they got or you aren't on the way, that's all that matters to them. And money, currency is the name of the game in this universe, okay? So we're not really going to have freedom unless we have proper financial freedom. And with that comes proper financial education, which is a silver pill to me. And, you know, I that has to be more pronounced in the Negro manosphere for black people. We have to become financially literate. Because if we don't, then we're always going to get what we've always got. We're just doing what we've always done. And that's not going to work. That's not going to get it to work. But anyways, I've hit myself on the 40-minute mark. This isn't a live stream, so I'm not trying to get it to 1 hour. But hopefully you enjoyed what you listened to. Hopefully I've expanded your mind a bit. And yeah, but really, really get yourself involved. You need to get yourself involved in cryptocurrency. It's not financial advice, but I don't really care. Bitcoin, it was $0 at one point in like 2009, and here we are at 11,745. I bought pretty much almost all my Bitcoin below this point, so I'm heavily green. Chainlink, I bought a lot of Chainlink at around $9 to $10. This is doing well. And Cardano, I wish I got into Cardano sooner, but and you know, these things might have a retrace, but they've been touching these numbers. These numbers are fairly high. They're not their all-time highs, of course, because $20,000, about like $15 here and everything, 30 or over $1. But see, they're high for what they've been this year. And the yearly lows have just been higher and higher for Bitcoin, just every single year. It's the best performing asset we've ever had, and I put a lot of trust in it. Get yourself involved. Watch out for the scams. But right now, where the market is at right now, though, to be quite honest, you really can't really go wrong with most of these things. Now, 5 years down the line, things are going to level out some more because the space is going to be more mature then. But right now, this market is bubbling. People are saying we're in a bull run. I'm conservative about that because I'm still understanding the space myself. But, you know, get into this and, you know, get yourself into silver and the gold, because right now, those two things, when the dollar gets weaker, those get stronger, and you definitely want to be stronger against the dollar. Avoid banks. That's just how I feel at this point in time. Avoid them. Just avoid them. Anyways, black people, stay strong, and I'm going to see you guys next time.